Well, it's next morning after afternoon. I got a call yesterday afternoon. Got a couple pins. You want to buy them? I was like, yeah, I absolutely want to buy them. I went up there, brought a trailer. There's two pins, and ended up getting three arcade machines and pinball lift also. Uh, I was give out at the end of the day, so I left them in the trailer overnight. There, it's a covered trailer. Uh, Anyway, I'm headed to the shop. I'm gonna unload them and I'll finish off from there. I'm back at my shop. So this is the first thing I got, which I was pretty happy about. A nice pinball cart. You're gonna see I was give out by the time I got to loading these things up. It was the end of the day. It was raining, and so the last one, and I couldn't. I was out of room and out of patience, and I threw the last one up on. That's as good as I could get it. I tried to get it inside. I thought I was going to put it in sideways. There wasn't room. And so that's where it ended up. The pins are nice and secure up at the top. By the way, if y'all want to try to guess what they are, I'll give you two hints. One of them's got babes and monsters. And you might get that one. The other one's got babes and camels. That one's a little more tricky. So I'm going to start by unloading. Oh, but so the arcades, I've got the original Pac-Man. The cabinet, I mean, it's rough, but people like the original Pac-Man cabinets. There's a Mortal Kombat, which is really rough. It's a lot of water damage on it. And a Miss Pac-Man cabinet that she said it worked. It's got a 40-in-1, but there's no power cord in it. The power cord's inside of it or something. That one may actually work. I don't know. I'm hopeful it does. But you know, either way, it's all right. So I'm gonna get this stuff unloaded here. So here's this Miss Pac-Man. This is the one that was the monitor was laying on the floor in the place. It was all jumbled up. Like I said, I don't know if I broke that monitor. Maybe it's got the original power supply. So nobody's ever switched this over to a switching power supply, which tells me it probably hasn't worked in a long time. It does have the board, you know. Who knows? Like I said, I think people like these cabinets. I don't know if the cabinet is different than the Miss Pac-Man. I guess it is. I mean, I know the art's different, but this art's pretty rough. If anybody's going to use it, they'd want to probably repaint it. Anyway, I took one of these to the auction. It's like, it was a junk game like this, and it still fetched, I don't know, $200 or $300. Let me see if I can get this Mortal Kombat out of here. It's pretty rough. I hear this Mortal Kombat. It actually looks a little bit better than what it was so dark. It was in a garage. It's super dark and you couldn't see anything in there hardly. Looks like it's complete. I'm assuming the board is down underneath there. I see a switching power supply. I really can't see if there's a game board, but I don't see any place for it here, so it'd probably be underneath there. It looks like they've got a dust shield on everything. Probably a good idea. This is monitors kind of swinging. The bottom mounts are either not mounted or broken off. It's like they're broken off because that's the bolts for them right there. So it's kind of a little precarious. Looks like it's been recapped at some point. The chassis anyway. Heck, I might try plugging this thing in. Get a switch there, get another switch up here. Yeah, why not? So I got this Mortal Kombat plugged in. I'm gonna turn it on. Don't hear anything. I see raster lines, so no image. Let's see if it will. Let's try. So here's the last arcade. It's a Miss Pac-Man. This thing's 5 million pounds. I didn't see that. So takes 50 cents. Okay. So this was on route at some point. Cabinet's pretty nice. There's no cord. There's a switch. The back looks nice and the cabinet's clean. You little dirt and grime on this. It's either be cleaned and or just replaced. So I'm hopeful. Get this back off here. Get a power cord hooked up. Maybe this thing boots in place. She said it's a 40-in-1, so I'm kind of tempted to go get my drill and drill into it right now. Dead bit. It'd help if I used a real drill instead of this cheapo little impact driver. Wow, that's a pretty clean looking monitor and chassis. It's a switching power supply. And there's the power cord. And all you gotta know, it's got all 3 plugs. 3 prongs, so it must be working in good shape. And that's the game board. So this is a modern remake of it. So this might be, well, no, that's the 40-in-1, I guess. What does it say? Donkey Kong, Galaga, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. So that might be a good reproduction one. A non-emulation version of them. I don't know. I'm gonna go get this thing plugged in. Yeah, it's got all the coin mechs and everything. This might be really cool. Well, I plugged it in and it was already turned on, so it's starting to boot. I see the light flicker. I'm gonna run in here. Okay, well, that's pretty close. I think that might be just some adjustments. Oh, there we are. So this is one of those 16-in-1 boards, I think. Yeah, it's vertical hold or horizontal hold. I think that'd be, I guess it's going this way, so it'd be horizontal hold because the monitor's in there backwards. So that's pretty cool. Let's see if I can electrokill myself. Geez. Okay, they're right here. I might have to go get a light and figure out which one of these pots does the horizontal. Or maybe just let it warm up a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to pull these last 2 games. If anybody figured out what these 2 games are, there's a couple more hints. There you can see that one. And that one, you get a little bit more hint. I'm gonna yank this blue one off there first because it's easier to get to. Okay, so I got this one out there. If you haven't figured it out yet, it's a Baywatch. I tried to plug this one in, and I did plug it in, but unfortunately the switch is not mounted in the hole, so I couldn't ever actually get it flipped all the way on. I got it like kind of halfway on. I heard the soundboard, but I never saw that it booted in. So I only got it like to flicker on, the power on for a little bit, I think. So I'm kind of interested whether this thing is going to boot up or not. I don't know. It's kind of the playfield looked pretty decent, but it's super dark, so I couldn't really see. And the environment it was in, it's kind of wet and musty. I mean, it's in a garage, but so everything's kind of rusty, you know, just like light surface rust on everything. But I think this game's gonna turn out all right. I think that button goes over there, and maybe a different button goes here. I don't know. So I'm gonna put this thing together and see if I can get it to boot. Looks like this thing is straightened out over the meantime. Probably I'm assuming that's a horizontal hold. I'm not an arcade expert by any means. It's probably right on the limit of needs to be adjusted, so when it's warmed up, it's okay. But I wish I could, yeah. It's like I need to drill out another one because I don't think need credits. Maybe I can reach the credits. Oh, yeah, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, my classic V170. So that's all I need to know. I played this version. It's It's good for most people. It's not good for me because I want to play Donkey Kong, and it's got the emulation lag. If you're serious about playing Donkey Kong, you get up the upper levels in the where the jacks are jumping across. That lag is just a killer. In a lot of games like Frogger, it would be a killer too if you got very far. The lag between when you press a button and when the frog goes, it's not very much. But if you're good at the game, you get very far, it destroys you. So, but for 99% of the people that want to play this game, it's perfect, and you can play most of the good classics. So it's a good game for a lot of people. So I'll probably just sell this thing, or maybe put it on routed. It'd be a good routed game too. So this game has a good sign here, 3-prong plug intact. This would decidedly be a bad sign. Some jerry-rigging jumper. That came out when I dropped the head. I was like, oh. Yeah, I don't know what else kind of nonsense is back in here, but yeah. What is that? That is not a pinball wire. I think maybe somebody has used that they use that as a knot, as a rope to tie something. It's just some heavy gauge wire. Okay, that's out of there. I'm gonna put the head up, and so that should probably be tucked up inside of here so it can short out one of the boards. I'll have to do something on that before I turn it on, before I plug it in. But otherwise, it's gonna get jammed in down here. So I got this game stood up, busted into the coin door, so I got it open. See, these rails are pretty corroded. Like I said, it was just in a damp environment for several years at least. The play field itself looks pretty good. It's dirty, but not too awful bad. I think. Little shark flipper, pretty cool. Busted flipper there, yeah. So somebody's done some field repairs. So we got 3 colors: pink, yellow and white, and gray. Like I said, I couldn't get it turned on because this janky switch. So that is actually underneath that box, I believe, if I'm feeling correctly. Yeah. So for me I'm gonna have to take that power box out of there. And there's lots and lots of carnage in here. Old parts, probably a knocker assembly there. Coin door light or button light or something. Lots of screws. I guess that's a banner topper if you like. Little screws, and I should probably take a look, get all the coins out of the boards before I try to turn this thing on, because there's coins and screws everywhere. Good way to, there's a couple of dimes, just like, and this thing was been upright, so good way to ruin a bay, run a board by cranking it on before you get all this stuff out. So yeah, I've got to take off 3 or 4 screws, get this box out so I can get that switch mounted on the bottom. I just can't get it toggled on. Yeah, so when I pick this up, that switch is just free hanging. It should have a nut on the back side of there to hold it in that hole in the bottom, and it didn't. So before I plug it in and switch it on, I'm going to take the back box off, at least address that one little wire that I had hanging, and just kind of take a look at things. Well, all things considered, things look pretty good. Everything looks pretty much original. Don't see the fuses from just eyeballing them. Everything looks like they're intact. Still got the batteries, but no corrosion. I think I'll take those off before I leave this for a while, because this will probably sit for, I don't know how long, but a while before I get to it. But in the meantime, I feel comfortable plugging this thing in, turning it on, see what kind of nonsense I'm in for. All right, it's plugged in. I'm gonna perilously reach in here in the 110 box and flip on the switch. Okay, I heard I think that is supposed to blink. No, it's good. We're booted up, and we got 15 credits. Do I dare press the start button? I heard the sound. Probably just gonna say needs ball or something like that. Let me press a button here. Looks like we got a two-player game going. It's not registering any button switches or well, I'll take what we got.
Best office in the world.
Best office in the world. That was the call out for. So that button works. Anyway, it's booted. That's 80% of the battle. Not really, but it's in some ways it seems like it. Sometimes it's the hardest part of the battle. From here, it's just little subsystems, you know. I think I'm going to call this one quits here. I may fold this one up because I'm running out of room quickly. And I'm not going to be looking at this one for a while. So here's the last game. It's Elvira and the Party Monsters. I'm not going to stand this one up because I had it plugged in before I bought it. So the cabinet's kind of rough. At least the paint is. I guess that's a decal. But decals are available for it, and or a lot of it's just black around where it's peeled up, so it could be fixed with some black paint pretty easily. Even like that, you know, some black and some yellow, and that's pretty much gone. So it does boot. It doesn't start a game. It had a factory, some kind of error. One of the displays didn't work. Probably got a lot of other issues. I did yank the batteries out of it. They were corroded. I cut the battery holder out of there. I cut 2 of them, and the other 3 or 4 kind of broke off. So I nipped them off right at the root to try to minimize the additional corrosion that's going to take place between now and when I get to this game. But for now, and it didn't look like there was really corrosion that dripped down below the battery holder. So that's the good news. So I think the board's intact. The System 11 boards are bad there's some real sensitive traces right beneath the battery holder. So I think it's going to be all right. It's a pretty cool game. Very desirable game. I think it's desirable to more people than it is to me. This is my least favorite of the Elviras. I still like it. The art package is awesome. I just don't like the gameplay so much. But still commands a couple bucks for one of these games. So I guess the last thing I want to do. So off camera, I plugged this Mortal Kombat in, and I did get a beep, and I got it booted once. I coined it up, and it was making coin noises, so it was booted. Had the raster lines on the screen, but then it wouldn't boot up again. So I'm guessing probably a dead hard drive or something, be my guess, or connection or whatever. So I think I'm going to go look and see what these things are worth, because I don't know if it's worth me investing any time in this game at all. So here's one price guide, Mortal Kombat. I think that's the one. I need to go check. 1,200, 800. Now, that game would never get that much, even if it was working, because it's so rough. But it kind of gives you a ballpark of what it's worth if it was fully restored in a nice cabinet, blah, 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 blah. The thing is, it sits... you know, I don't know, not much. If it's got somebody wants it for a couple $100, come get it. What I know is the monitor will display raster lines. The game, I've seen it boot. I don't know if it will boot, but I've seen it boot. I suspect it's probably a hard drive error. Cabinets, it's rough. A lot of water damage down at the bottom. Yeah, this is an original Mortal Kombat. Yeah. Overlays. Kind of nasty looking. Probably just take that plastic off. That's what Joe always does. He just gets rid of the plastic and cleans the original overlay, and then it looks pretty decent. That's a new molding. and a whole bunch of black paint. Just sand that thing down, maybe some body filler. Yeah, if anybody wanted to put the time into it, you could redo it. This one does not have the back piece to it. And yeah, that monitor is just free flow. I'm gonna try to boot it up one more time and see what happens here. If it boots, there's a bong right away. So it didn't boot. I almost can't help myself from digging into stuff like this because, yeah, you see the raster lines. So I think the monitor's good. It's just not getting a signal. But even when it did boot, it was still the same. So there's still some kind of issue with it could be the chassis, it could be the MPU board, I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm going to end this one here. And I'll probably get to some of these games. I'm probably not going to do any videos on the arcades. I probably will. This one for sure. I just want to figure out how to adjust that horizontal. And this one I'm probably going to do something with. The other two arcades, I'll probably just either put them on Facebook and or just take them to the auction. And the two pinball machines, I'll probably fix both of those. Or maybe sell them as projects. I don't know. I'm kind of getting full up here again. I get more games in than I can fix myself. So occasionally I have to part with some of them. But these two I kind of like. I like both these games. So maybe, but I'll probably free something else up anyway. Anyway, if you like the videos, click like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Well, I couldn't help myself. Got into here. By the way, I don't see a hard drive per se, so maybe this doesn't have a hard drive. It's pretty filthy, but I just measured the 5 volts down here. It's at 5.8, pretty toasty. So first thing I'm gonna do is unplug this thing and adjust this thing down a little bit and see maybe if I can get it to boot. It booted once. Got it turned down a little too low, 4.7. Y'all can't see, but I'm cranking it up here. I'm gonna put it about 5.1. And turn it off, turn it on again. Hey, that's a beep. Maybe that's a boot. I still don't expect to see anything on the screen because the one time it did boot, it never had anything on the screen. But let's see if it will play blind. That'd be something. Nope. The first time I did it, it would coin up. So. Yeah, this is a better project for somebody who knows what they're doing with arcade machines. I don't know what that one bong means, but getting the 5 volts to 5 volts made that pretty reliable. See if it does it again here. Yeah, that means something to somebody, not to me. It means it's more than it was doing before. Anyway, I'll say goodbye again and mañana. Okay, one more. I couldn't help myself. I just can't stop. I plugged this sucker in. I figured, you know what? I'm just going to take it to auction as a junker, so I might as well plug it in. Somebody else is going to. It's got the original power supply. You never see one of these with the original power supply. What's this? It's some kind of booted up. I don't know. It probably, if I reached down there and got the coin, I love that sound of the coin going in. I may have to try to see if I can do that. Okay, let's see what this does. Oh, yeah. Eating those quarters. Okay. Oh, we still have an error. It's not starting the game. But it's clearly booted. That is the quarter eating sound. Maybe we're in a diagnostic mode, and that is some kind of... I think we're in a diagnostic deal, because those are just like weird random sounds. Yeah, that's what my guess. There might be I don't know these games at all. There might be a switch on that board where you switch it and it'll boot into diagnostic mode, or maybe something's messed up and it just boots into diagnostic mode. I don't know. But it's close. I don't think those boards are very valuable because they made 15 million, or maybe it's the Miss Pac-Mans. I guess a lot of them Miss Pac-Man were Pac-Man that got converted. I think that daughter board or something like that. They took the Pac-Man and they converted them to Miss Pac-Mans because the Pac-Man was too easy and people would memorize the maze and just play forever. Anyway, it plays blind, let's say that, or close to playing blind. The little switch for the test mode's right inside the door. You know, one of those guys that memorize the modes, they could almost play this thing blind. Okay, plays blind. Just needs a monitor. You know, I've got a monitor in the Mortal Kombat. It's somewhat tempting. Here's my problem. I could maybe do this, but it'd take me forever because I don't really know what I'm doing. This is a better, like I said, this is a better project for somebody else. I'll just leave it as it is. And with that, I'm going to stop wasting time on these arcades because I like messing with them, but I'm not very good at it. And I can waste all day monkeying with them and not getting a whole lot done.